let's get started with this process of sketch, stitch, and journal. So I'm going to be posting a weekly prompt, and we're going to start with first light. And so that's the example that I'm going to be using in these first few videos, and then I'll just do them all together. So today's video is going to be about sketching. And we're going to talk about what sketching can look like if you're hesitant to draw anything, as I was. I enjoy drawing, but I always am my worst critic. And if that is you, then there might be some different ways and you can go about engaging with the prompts before you get into the stitching or the journaling. The idea behind this process is really to provide different touch points for us to really deepen our understanding about what we're thinking about with the prompts. So with First Light, we're really talking about those early morning rituals and routines that really either get us going or are kind of getting in the way of helping us make progress throughout our day. So again, today we're going to start with sketching, and I'm going to change my camera and show you some of the things from my own sketchbook, and then we'll come up with some different alternatives, such as taking a collection of photographs or engaging in different sorts of art materials like painting, watercolor. You choose. The idea is just to respond to the prompts and get your ideas flowing before you really sit with them and process in your sewing. So let's get started on this journey. Okay, let's get started. So sketch can literally mean drawing, or it can mean a lot of different things that I'm going to share with you. So first I'm going to show you kind of my plan. Now you don't have to have this particular kind of notebook. You can have any regular lined notebook. It can be a blank book. It could be a sketchbook. But I plan to do all of my drawing and writing in the same. So I have 15 daily journal prompts. This is going to be for a series that I'm going to finish. The prompt I'm going to put on this page. This is a notebook that has both lined sections and then blank sections. So you see kind of my notebook, my post-it notes, where this is going to be kind of my open flow writing to the prompts that I'm going to share each week. And then this space is going to be separate from the drawing, or include some of the drawing and then come back to it. And then I'm going to put the coding here and maybe some other connections that I have. I'll share what that actually looks like in my journal. This one is also similar in that it has blank pages and it has lined pages, but it's just the same all the way through. And at the end, I'll talk about what that's going to look like for me. So when you're thinking about drawing, sometimes you might worry about like getting it wrong. So if you're starting in that place where you don't have confidence in your drawing, you might want to just buy a cheap little, really inexpensive little notebook. I use this one whenever I feel that way about something. I've got practice drawings. I've even kind of tried to put here on some of my bullet journal spreads. I've practiced before I commit. Now that's more of a commitment in my bullet journal because it's something I have to look at and engage with for a whole month. Whereas for us, we're just going to be responding to prompts. So I wanted to show you, this is another notebook that I had that I tried. This, for a while, I was just drawing. You're supposed to draw 5 things about your day every day. And I did pretty good for about, 5 days. And then I kind of fell off. And so this is a person that doesn't feel confident in their drawing. What if I just took time and focused? It was just really nice to conceptualize things that I wanted to remember about my day and just try to put it down. This is for me. I'm not going to publish this, except for now I'm sharing it with you. So when we're drawing for ourselves, it doesn't need to look good for other people. We just need to feel good about how that looks. So have some confidence and try it out for yourself. If you still feel a little hesitant, I have a couple of different ideas. You can purchase some books that show you some simple um, items that you can draw and some how-to guides. This is Journal with a Purpose that's meant to focus more on bullet journaling with the dot grid. I'll show you there's just a lot of different things, and some of them have step-by-step and some of them are just drawn in there, so some simple drawings. Sometimes that's enough to just give me inspiration, make me feel like I can try something, but that's a great resource that I have found useful. And if you're open to it, our prompts are going to be really general and sometimes even vague, like First Light that was our first one. And so I found this book, and it's Draw Yourself Calm, and it's about drawing slow. And I'll show you kind of what this style looks like. You can already see that it's repeated lines, and how it's just really therapeutic, I find, to be able, and it allows me to think. Once I get the main setup, I can just repeat it, and then it becomes almost like slow stitching for me and that repeated part. So I started this a while back, and it's inspired. I went through the book all the way through, but just starting, and in the book she guides you in simple drawings at first and then getting more complex and layering. And so this is me experimenting with a lot of that. So in the prompt, if I were to think First Light, I might use this sort of repeated drawing and line drawing on a horizon or clouds or something else that's more abstract than what I just showed you, which was more a detailed drawing of realistic items. So you can see, you can play with color, lots of different shapes, texture in the line drawing. Hers is a lot better than mine. These are just kind of inspired by that particular book. I added color after a while. This is one of my favorite pieces. And I would say that when I did use this technique and use the slow drawing, it really did add to my stitching part of my practice. So I would not necessarily try to repeat these drawings in stitch, but I might kind of use and like the way something looks, and so it might contribute to my play with the materials. I took that a little bit further beyond if you're more of a painter. I haven't watercolored for a little bit, but I kind of took that idea into my watercolor page and used like some tape to prevent the water from coming in. So I had like these clear sections. And then within each section, I used just paint in the paintbrush to conceptualize that. So this could be another way that you engage with the sketch part of the process that I'm going to share. This one looks a little bit more realistic, but it has some of the same ideas of that repeated. I think this time I just played with water on the page, and given the way that the colors presented themselves, I kind of conceptualized an actual background or landscape or image, and then just drew lines on top. So that's a way of combining both line drawings and watercolor paint. So there's lots of different options. If that's not enough, I'm going to show you one other place. I believe that I shared last time in my introduction, the origin story, that in my research, I asked participants to conceptualize their burnout using photos. And so I really love the idea of marking our days, just marking experiences, but also conceptualizing something through photography. And there's lots of these little printers, and this is one that I use. It's Canon Ivy. It has a little cartridge inside. I print wirelessly from my phone, and it comes out here. And I'm not an affiliate or anything with there, but that's just one that I like. This is an example of one I picked with my little brother when we were younger. But for a while in my own bullet journal, I did a photo a week. And my idea was to eventually put these into a book I'm about to share. But if you like the idea of taking photos as a way of responding to the prompt before you get into the stitching, I highly recommend that too, especially if you just know that drawing is not for you, or painting. And so I'll show you one more resource here. When I actually was doing that, I was doing a journal. It kind of looks like what I just showed you, and I will show you again at the end of my own work for our prompt in First Light. This particular prompt was about the absence of ourselves. If we aren't there, how do we know? Or where are the spaces that we are? I'm in my kitchen looking out this window. This is my place at the dinner table. This is where I often sat to, well, you see, do knitting and crochet. So those are some spaces. And then I just kind of decorated it. And then I just wrote my response. I did something similar here. This was about gazing. What are you naturally drawn to when you're thinking? And this is the view outside my kitchen window. This is a close-up of kind of my overgrown garden as it looks in the late spring. Watching a pot ready to boil. So again, that's just an idea of ways that you can use photography instead of drawing in that part of the sketch part. So for me, I again have this notebook, and I have our prompt of the First Light. And so some of the things that I just sketched out were the horizon. I was already thinking about stitching here, so you see kind of the dashed lines. I'm thinking about the running stitch, and then I kind of let myself go and just started drawing my coffee cup. I've been reading, listening to podcasts, walking my dog. I'm not good at drawing animals or faces, so again, this is for me. This is kind of like a landscape off into the horizon. This is a sidewalk. I do yoga, so this was kind of more of an abstract piece of namaste, having my hands together, and then my attempted drawing a ball of yarn with needles. So this is for me, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like. And then I did some sewing and did some journaling through our process. So for this notebook, I'm going to have my drawings, my journal, 2 pages if I need to, and then I'm going to start laying out my coded words. And again, that's going to come in a couple of videos from now. And my idea is to leave this page blank, and I'm going to start pulling some of those words that I pulled out of my journal and start having them here so I can see a bigger picture maybe after we get several days in or several weeks into the journaling part. If you're finding me now at the end of February, you're seeing me do the prompts almost in real time with you. If you find this later, you'll be able to watch them in a faster sequence possibly. So we know that the next one coming up is going to be about quiet spaces and where you find peace in your daily life. I must have already still been thinking about light. And then some prompts here. So those are some ways that you can engage with the sketch part of this process. I look forward to hearing some comments and having you share with each other different ways that maybe I didn't share already, ways that you found that you can access this part of the process. I'll see you in the next video.